This is a lesson in using detail components to create drawings in drafting views of wall sections. So the wall types drawings will be made using a drafting view. Follow along carefully, please. This is very boring and painstaking, but you have to learn how to create these drawings. From view, create a drafting view. I'm going to draw at 1.5 inch scale, and I'm going to call this wall type 1, the simple partition. Okay, it should be self-explanatory. I can't show you side by side what I'm drawing from, but you can open up your handout and look at the wall type 1. Okay, so you get a big, blank, bewildering page. And what I'm going to start to do is just lay out the parameters of my drawing. So I need some lines. Start with a detail line. The line type. That's going to represent my floor. This is going to represent my ceiling plane. And this is going to represent the underside of the floor above. And then these are the two sides of my wall. Okay, I'm going to draw some text here explaining. I'm going to use the leader with one segment. We're going to draw with 3/32 area. This is going to be my floor type, finished floor. This is going to be ceiling, and this is going to be the underside of the floor above. So what I'm doing is setting up the parameters of my drawing. I'm going to measure. Let me remind you what we're doing. We're drawing at 1.5 inch scale. Right? There's a distance of 8 feet. Right now, the width of my wall appears to be 8 inches. Right? And when you're drafting views don't allow the same functions that you can't crop this view. You have to sort of understand that the area that you're drawing in, right, let's say that the distance from here to there is exactly 8 feet. Let's just draw that, right? So imagine that your drawing, right, fits in a box. I'm going to use a detail line, draw some hidden lines, and draw a rectangle, right, that's about the size, what my drawing fits into. And I'm going to measure that rectangle, top and bottom, okay? Uh, and let's give it some even numbers here. 10 feet that way, and let's say it's 6 feet that way. Okay, so we're drawing into a box that in model space, in real space, is 6 feet wide and 10 feet high. 6 feet wide and 10 feet high at 1.5" scale is what? Well, a conversion from 1.5 inches. Well, let's do this. This drawing is going to go on a page called wall types, and we've already created that sheet, wall partition types, right? Again, please follow carefully with this. I'm proceeding very, very slowly. So this is where my drawing is going to fit. If you can imagine, right, one of the things we can do with Revit, with our pages, with sheets, is to draw a set of guides. Let's just draw them as detail lines. I'm going to go annotate detail lines. So I'm going to split the page in half, and I'm going to split the page into fourths. Is that right? Okay, so imagine in each one of these spaces, I'm just drawing lines. I'm going to create a drawing, right? That's going to be scaled according to whatever scale the viewport in it. Now the drawing I just created is a drafting view. It's a simple partition. It's at 1.5 inch scale. I'm going to drag it into the space here. And let me move it aside so there's my drafting view. Okay, I'm going to remove these lines so they don't clutter the space. So this is a drawing that I have so far. A simple wall partition at 1.5 inch scale. That's the amount of space that it occupies in the drawing. So I have to make it smaller. Right? Okay. Detail items. Now, I don't care about the floor or the underside of the floor above. That we don't need to represent represent that as being modeled because we're not doing anything with it. We're not intervening on that space. So I'm going to take a detail line and select a wide line and just draw along the plane of the finished floor and the plane of what I call the underside of the floor above. Okay. TL, toggles line weight, and you can see that's a big, thick line. It's my finished floor, is the underside of the floor above. If I want this a bit smaller, I can drag this down, right? And change that to dimension. So I want to fit all this stuff into this part of the drawing. So I'm making this smaller. Okay? It's important to understand how to draw in drafting views because it's the Revit equivalent of drawing in AutoCAD or whatever. So now I'm making my drafting view a bit smaller. My drafting view now fits into all this space. Again, you don't have the capability of cropping the view, so anything you draw is going to appear in the viewport that you drag into the everything I draw here is going to appear on the sheet. Now let's go back to the sheet. You see this drawing is a bit smaller. This is about the right size, right? Do I have a dimension from floor to let's dimension from floor to ceiling. 5, it's almost 6 feet. So about 6 feet. Oops. Six feet in height, right? And 6 feet in width just about fits into 1/6 of a sheet, so I could fit 6 drawings of this type. What do I mean by that? Oops. 1, 1, 2, 'Call Maria Corella.